Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, everyone. Nighthawk here, and today we're going to be continuing our coding series of our Megaman-X platform in GameMaker Studio 1.4. I woke up about an hour ago, did a little bit of homework this morning, and so I'm just a little tired. But I think what I want to go ahead and get started with here is getting some of the scripts ready and some of the animations ready for our player here. So the first thing I might want to go ahead and start with is create a new group in the scripts called player, and then I'm going to go ahead and create a new script, and I'm going to call this check index. This is a script that I used in one of my earlier builds of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System version of X, and it's just, all it basically does is just check to see, given a certain argument, if the sprite index is equal to something or it's equal to this, and if so, we will turn a 1, and then we'll continue with our conditions defined in our object script or something. So we can just do, let's see, so check index and then case here, and then we'll do switch argument 0. Open this up, case idle. I'll go ahead and like comment some of this stuff later, but let me go ahead and just write some of this stuff out. Just like in the statement there with break. And then we're going to say if sprite index is equal to idle sprite, or sprite index is equal to blink sprite, or sprite index is equal to shoot sprite. Start with that. And then if that's the case, we will return 1 and then end the statement here. Give me just a second here. I need to close my window. Okay. Alright. So basically what this is saying, if we implement the case here into our script of idle here, it will check to see if our sprite index is equal to our idling sprite, or if we're blinking for a second, or if we're at a standstill shooting, and if so, we will return a 1, which can be similar to saying if sprite index is equal to idle sprite, and then you do your coding if that condition is true. It just simplifies a whole bunch of excess code writing and makes everything look a little bit nicer. Actually, another thing I would do is actually create another script, call this similarly animate player, and then make a little comment for what this will do. Animate player case, just similar to check index, but we're actually going to be animating the player here. So switch argument 0 case idle, and then we'll do another one, case run. Okay, so for our idle here, what I'm going to do is, so let's see, if shoot timer is greater than 0, sprite index is equal to shoot sprite, else sprite index is equal to idle sprite. Boom. Now, so for the reason I added this piece in later is like if we're pressing the shoot key in the future, if we're just sitting there, we can just shoot or something. But if say we hit the shoot key while we're still running, and we come to a stop, and then we're not shooting anymore, and the shoot timer is still greater, it will still be equal to the shoot sprite here. Otherwise, it will just be equal to our idle sprite. So for run, we're going to do something similarly here. If we're going to be doing a if else kind of statement here, so I'm going to go ahead and write this stuff out. If flash timer is greater than 0, sprite index is equal to run flash sprite. If shoot timer, else if shoot timer is greater than 0, sprite index is equal to excuse me, sprite index is equal to run shoot sprite, else sprite index is equal to run sprite. So similarly, if we were to hit the, excuse you, coffee pot, jeez. If we were to hit the shoot key, we have a little bit of a flash, as you would see in the Megaman-X 4 through X6 titles. If it's greater than 0, first we'll assign this sprite index here, and if that's not true and it's 0, and if this is instead greater than 0, we'll use this sprite index, and if neither of these are true, we'll just run normally. Well, I'll go ahead and do one more for the jump here. It's just going to be the similar case. Case jump. I might as well just do it for land too as well. If we can, index is equal to jump sprite. Oh, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, shoot. Jump flash sprite. Else if shoot timer is greater than 0, sprite index is equal to jump shoot sprite. Else sprite index is equal to jump sprite. Alright, and then one more case. Land, it's basically like when we're landing the jump. Since I didn't combine my jumping sprites or after my game or my GameMaker application crashed, sadly. Not sure why that happened. That normally doesn't happen. That's the first time it's ever done that. So if flash timer is greater than 0, sprite index. Else if shoot timer is greater than 0, sprite index is equal to land flash sprite. Else sprite index is equal to land sprite. Okay, so we'll just start with something like that. We probably should do this. We should probably apply similar applications to our check index script, but we'll get to that in the future. Let's go to get started with some. Actually, we probably should go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and actually just speed things up here, bash through these really quick, and then we'll resume our little build here. Alright, so I've already put those in. Let's go to get started with animating our player with some basic animations. So we're going to go back into our controller here and then do a little bit of animation controllers. Just going to call this animation handling controllers. And then what I did in my other build is I've defined my animations based whether or not if I was touching the ground or not. So if make a comment here saying ground based animations and then air based animations, something like that. So if place meeting x, y plus 1 CTRL floor, which is all of our floor collisions if you haven't seen it before, and then if not, excuse me, if not place meeting x, y plus 1 CTRL floor, open and close some curly braces. These are just going to be placeholders. We'll maybe get to this in one here soon. So if move is equal to 0, move we defined in our platformer coding right there, and then we just go from there. So if move is equal to 0, we're going to animate player idle. In our idle case, we've already defined here to be our idle sprite or shoot sprite, depending if our shoot timer is greater than 0. Alright, and then else, let's see, so if check index idle or check index land, right? Yes, should work. And then image index is equal to 0, and then animate player run. Alright, so again, with this little simple line of code here, it basically just saves you from typing out like repetitively if sprite index is equal to this, or it's equal to that, or it's equal to that, so on and so forth. Because if, say, if we're idling, this case will check to see if our sprite index is equal to our idle sprite, and if so, it will return 1, and this statement will be true, and then we can go ahead and then go with whatever is in here. Similarly, if our sprite index is equal to like a landing sprite, like from we're landing from our jump, and then it will do the same thing. It will be obviously set our image index to be 0, and excuse me, and then we'll be just setting our player to run, which is just basically saying our sprite index will be to run. We need to go into the animation end here, though, our update controller. This is one of the things I did off camera here just to help, well, you might have saw some of this, I don't remember, but just to help kind of debug it and stuff. So we're going to need to make a new one for running, because if you look at the strip that I sent you guys, and you were to like look at the strip, you can see that the animation here, well, first of all, we gotta set that to 60. Kind of has a little bit of a stutter. That's because he's starting his footsteps. What you want the game to say is you want it to repeat your code maybe about this image right here, so it's a consistent loop sequence. So that would be image index number 6. So if check index run, and this applies sort of at the end of the animation, we're just going to basically set our image index to 6, and that should make everything run smoothly. So hopefully when I run the game here, we should see that we can idle, and we can also have a running animation. Okay, what happened here? Oh, so we have a variable that's not been set before reading it, and it's because I didn't spell it correctly. It's not timer, that's how you say it. Where is this located? In our animated player script? Okay, that's fine. So that tells me we might have misspelled it a couple of times. Oh, nope, just here. Okay. It's always good to kind of figure out where these errors are coming from, and then you can always find out what's going on and stuff. Oh, wait, and I didn't even set that one either. I don't. That was weird. Why was he not? Why was he doing that? So first of all, we actually need to define our bling sprite here. But why would that was weird. Don't remember that happening. Yeah, in our idle case, it should have been idle, and I don't even know why it was jumping like that. It was weird. Okay, yeah, that's not normal. I want my give it back. So that's all good. Actually, here, I think one thing that might help is if we set a default here, and then just copy in. Oh, I think I might know also why it's not working. Forgot to add in our break statements. Always remember to add your break statements whenever you're switching a certain variable. And I'm clearly not awake this morning. So we're just gonna copy this in, paste that in, and then let's try that again. I think it's because we didn't have that break statement. Let's just check it through all the other cases. Yeah, there we go. See, that's better. There we go. So you can see what I mean too when I reset that image index. The animation is more smooth and consistent. If we didn't have that, the animation will be pretty choppy. He's still moving kind of quickly though. I'm not sure why. And I know we haven't got our jumping in yet. I just wanted. We're taking one thing at a time, if that makes any sense. But yeah, that is what I want to see. That's good. We need to adjust that move speed again because he's just still going way too fast. And HSP carry should be 0, so I don't know why it's just continuously adding on to that. Okay, that's a little bit better. Alright, but like with the no armor, he is pretty slow, but when you put an armor on him, he actually speeds up just a little bit, so that's why we are working with this here, with this value. Probably should up our jump speed back up again, maybe set this to 1.6. Try that. It just doesn't hurt to fine tune a couple of things here and there. That's basically what I'm doing. There we go, that's better. That's way better. That is, okay. That's, okay, that's better. Alright, so now we can keep going. Sorry about that. One thing I'm going to do really quick, because we don't really need to see this anymore, is going to hide our spawner from being visible. So just, you don't want to see an S just at the start of your stage. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so let's work on, for the last part of this video, working on getting our jumping to work. So we're going to go in our not place meeting basis here. So if key jump underscore jump, just make a comment there. Always remember the comment just so you know what your code does what. Okay. That's the wrong type of bracket there. That's for an array. Okay. Ooh, come on. There we go. So if key underscore jump, if check index idle or check, wait, actually no, hold on. I don't think we need to do that. If not check index, instead jump. So if our sprite index is not equal to jump, we will set our image index to be 0 and animate player to be jumping. Here we go. And then further down here, mid-air, we're going to do two separate mid-air controllers, one for jumping and then another one for wall jumping. We'll get to the wall jumping later, maybe in the next build here. Because the wall jump is one of the things that's just hard to work with me here, and I'll explain it in the next video. Okay, so for our mid-air controls, basically you don't want the animation to just keep repeating itself. Thinking here, not awake yet. So if our vertical speed is less than 0, basically when we're still in the jumping process, if we check, well, okay, here, let's do this too. If check index jump, we'll set that inside. I'm going to select this and hit tab so we can indent words easily. You can also just select it and right click and hit indent selected lines, or control I and shift control I and stuff to clean your code up. So if our sprite index is equal to jump, and if our vertical speed is less than 0, if our image index therefore is greater than, and we need to check our sprite index here, just look at this one here. We can look. So if our image index is greater than 14, we basically want to reset our image index to be the same image index here until we start falling down, and then the animation can continue. So if it's greater than 14, image index is equal to 14, right? And then else, if image index is greater than furthermore, let's take a look at this again. Looks like 24 might be a good number, or 23. If it's greater than 22, we'll just stick with that. Image index is equal to 22. Alright, and then coming back up here for our ground-based animations, make a comment for landing instead. If check index jump, not see. We're not checking index land here. Okay, yeah. So basically what I just did here is just a little more optimization, because I think if I were to just animate the player to be landing here, it wouldn't really do that animation. Instead, it would go to the idle animation first, because our move is equal to 0 and there's no other conditions. It would just immediately animate to our idle sprite. So that's why I added this condition here, just to make sure we're not having a sprite index of our land, and then we can safely animate this. So if so, for check index is equal to jump, animate player land, and that should hopefully work. All this should work. So basically, what we're doing is when we hit the jump key, if we don't have a jump sprite index, we will set that index with an image index to be 0 to start our animation, and then we'll have some controls in here to make sure our image indexes are kept the same until we land. And if we're landing, then we'll do this, and then rinse and repeat. Everything should work. Okay, so if I hit jump, okay, but we still don't see our landing sprite there, which is kind of weird. I think instead do that, like just add a little bit more optimization and check. We are not checking in our index of jump. So basically, if we're, oh wait, that's a loophole there. That doesn't make any sense. So if we're not jumping, and if we don't have a jump sprite index, and we don't have a land sprite index, we will animate the player. Let's try that. Oh, okay. All right. That we can put in our animation updating controller. If check index land, animate player idle, and then also image index equals 0. Okay. Simple little fix. Instead, if it doesn't work in your step event, just put it in your animation end event, and then that should work. There we go. That's working way better now. Okay, so now we have our jumping animation, and that's probably a good place to stop for this video. So anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this build series so far. I've been Nighthawk, and we will continue next video working on our wall jumping. See you then.